the greatest advance in television since color television itself.
Right now, at this very moment, as you watch these light rays striking the magnified eye, similar tiny beams of light are entering your own eyes.
I was going to ask you, though, man, you were in the bags.
I was in the bags, yeah.
Man, are you on their singles and stuff?
Huh?
Are you on their
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we had one single on Danger House, which was LA's first, like, punk independent.
It was Hate the English one? Or Babylonian
and then
Gorgon?
They put out, Babylonian Gorgon.
I love that, yeah.
I know, it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And there's nothing punk about it, really. It's just a bop song.
I suppose. It's got the energy of it.
It's got the energy.
Yeah.
But compared to the other side, which is, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But we did record 2 other songs at some studio in Long Beach at Danger House. So they had 4 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Put those on the single because each of their singles were pretty carefully made and really nice quality.
Yeah.
And they saved the other 2 for what was going to be like a picture desk.
Oh,
the old picture desk.
That No LA thing? Right?
Yes, LA.
Yes, LA.
Yeah, so it had some stuff on it.
Yeah.
And then we had that song, We Don't Need the English.
Yeah. I love that, too.
I know, it was fun to play. Yeah. And it's something else. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But that was it. We tried. We really tried. We got people to work with us because in our delusion at the time, we thought that, okay, it's not going to be a major label. It's going to be interested in us. Mm-hmm. Even though we're right there in their backyard. They never came around.
Yeah.
And if they did, it was some A&R guy who just kind of showed up and then left. Mm-hmm. But we thought, well, maybe, because you sort of had, you could go below that a little bit and still get your distribution.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, anyway, there were just, so we thought maybe we could luck in there somehow. Look, I know we're rough. I know we're raw. Take us into the studio, work with us, give us a producer. Maybe you can figure something out. Maybe we could make this work somehow. But it never happened. I know. We tried
It's
hard.
I love those records, but it's one of the few of those early bands I never did see. I don't know how I missed seeing them. I love those records.
And it's by our eyes that we are able to gain a great part of our knowledge. Nature has located the eye close to the brain so that its messages may arrive there quickly.
The ultimate in performance and convenience. 7-function, remote control color television, so beautiful it enhances any decor.
I came out just on a thing, I'll stay a few months. I was in college, and then I left. Wasn't sure I wanted to keep doing it. And then I came, I hated it here. I was just like, ugh.
Didn't know anybody beyond the family.
I didn't really know anybody. But I came out with the first Ramones album.
Yeah.
I had just bought that before I left. And, but the weird thing was that after about 6 months, I'm like, I don't know if I can leave. I think I like it here. I don't know what it was. It was just a vibe that I...
Was it that much different from Texas?
From Texas? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very different.
I mean, weather-wise, but also cultural and everything.
In every way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when the punk thing just kind of just exploded.
Here,
so
especially.
Blondie came January 1977 and played the Whiskey, and I went there.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then the Ramones were there a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, they were at, I saw them at the Roxy. That was their first.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it was, I think they were opening for the Flamin' Groovies.
Oh.
I think they were under the bill.
Oh, right,
on
okay.
the bottom of the
All
bill,
right.
yeah.
Flamin' Groovies, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see them. But anyway, Gene.
Yeah. Are we starting?
So, yeah. We're just gonna,
okay.
Usually what we do is we just try to open with something, and maybe we'll find a couple of photographs,
Okay.
and then we just start.
Okay.
No formal thing, because I just kind of like that.
Okay.
It's in the description. Of course, we'll cut all this out. People know what this is.
Okay.
And if they don't, they'll find out. Watch the video. You'll find out.
Okay.
But first of all, I loved your book.
Oh,
Now, there's
thanks.
another one I have to immediately go get after this, which is the one you did in 2016.
Oh,
Trying to
right.
explain rock and roll. I have to totally go get that, all your writings.
Okay.
Because you wrote was it your first one in 66?
What, first writing?
First, yeah, about the San Francisco
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
you're originally from there, is that correct?
Northern California, yes.
Northern California.
Bay Area. Yeah.
Right. So you saw all that stuff happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
I
Yes.
mean, what was that like? Because you
Well,
were totally into music when you were younger, before
Yeah,
all that.
sure.
You know, and that's what I thought was so cool about the book, was it was kind of like your life as it, intersected with these songs.
Yeah.
And such a fun idea, So when you saw this stuff in San Francisco, I mean, you must have felt like, wow, this is different. This is
Yeah, it's like, if you're of that certain age like I was, there was sort of a progression of things. There would be the 50s, and then there was, as folk music and stuff like that in early 60s, and then there's the Beatles, and then there's folk rock, and then this thing erupts in San Francisco, which is, psychedelic. So at the time, and I'm 19 years old or something like that, it doesn't seem like, I mean, it's the most wonderful thing ever, but you're not aware of it as this giant juncture between everything else. It's just the next thing that's going on, because music was moving pretty fast then.
right.
Super
Fast. That's how my memories is a little bit younger in the 60s. Just, whew.
Oh, yeah.
God, you look back on it now, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I can finally catch my breath, go back and actually think about it.
Yeah.
There were so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of the difference from like 64 to 69.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 5 years.
Yeah.
And yet, a universe.
And Dylan is in there too, I forgot. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Part of that. Yeah.
So you were a student at UC Davis, right?
Yeah. I was a sophomore in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, because you mentioned that that's when you did your first radio gig.
Yeah. In the dorms.
In the dorm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. I mean, was that...
Well, I always liked radio. I mean, I liked Top 40 radio. I grew up in the Bay Area with those guys, and I love that stuff. And they had a little radio station, and you could go on and play whatever you wanted, I guess. And I thought the first show I had I called it Blues and Such.
Blues and Such.
And as I wrote in a little book, I had the Howlin' Wolf Rockin' Chair album, maybe the first two Stones albums, and Muddy Waters at Newport. And so I was a blues expert, you can tell. And I did that. And then, things were moving so fast that I changed the name of the show to Tom Wolfe's book, The Candy-Colored Tangerine Flake Streamlined Baby, because now I wanted to play the birds and the turtles and everything else that had started to happen. Right. So I did it. And I don't know how long that went on. I transferred to San Francisco State as a junior, and then I was out of radio there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't do the same thing there.
Maybe could have, but I had to study and go to shows, Yeah.
Right. Well, you must have felt overwhelmed by all the singles and everything that's starting to come out.
Yeah.
And they're just flying,
Yeah.
so many.
But the funny thing is that because this whole new thing had no place to go at the time, there was not any sense of inevitability that this was going to happen. I mean, you look back on it now and say, oh, Janis Joplin, of course. But the first Jefferson Airplane album didn't have any hits.
Yeah.
The second one finally is what really popped. But it was kind of touch and go there for those acts. Is this thing really going to happen?
Huh.
And then I wrote a piece about it, and other people wrote about it. And I mean, that's not what made it happen, but the word got around,
Yeah. Well, you wrote that I read that you wrote the first piece about the San Francisco.
The first piece in a national magazine, which was Crawdaddy, but that may have had a circulation of a couple thousand, know. But yeah. Still. Well, it was Greg Shaw was the guy who got me to do it. He and his partner, a guy named David Harris, they had a magazine, a fanzine called the Mojo Navigator Rock and Roll News, and I found that at the psychedelic shop on Haight Street, and I started buying it, and finally I started writing for him, and it was actually, I said, this this thing is great. What's going on here? He said, you ought to write it somewhere else too. Write it in Crawdaddy, because Crawdaddy was the only real, not even pro, but sort of national thing that was doing. So they allowed me to write a piece about it in there, and that was the first piece. Yeah.
And so, what were your impressions
of this?
Everything. What did you want to say to people about this thing that's happening?
Well, first of all, I think how exciting and how diverse it was. All those bands, when I later wrote a book with my writing partner, Davin C., about San Francisco, we did a book called San Francisco Nights, and it was very important for us when we did that book to assign, we didn't make them up, but to assign kind of a personality to each one of those pioneer bands.
Oh, okay.
And we did, and that's kind of the way it looked. The first show I went to was March of '66 to see Paul Butterfield, and the local band supporting them was Quicksilver Messenger Service, and they were just a really good rock and roll band, really stylish. And then my cousin said, you got to see the Grateful Dead, so you'll never look back. And they were great too. They were powerful. And I'd seen The Great Society with Grace Slick in it, and I'd seen The Airplane, and then Big Brother, who were kind of sort of freaks and stuff. But and Country Joe and the Fish, and then Moby Grape, they were all unique. They were all different, So that was what was important to convey,
Well, it just reminded me, and I've always been intrigued by it anyway, how, every few years you'll have another scene that just comes up out of nowhere, and that first flush of excitement, all these records coming out, and when that happened with me in '77, because I was such a fan of things that have been happening 15 years before that, I was thinking back to those times too, like, wow. The first time I ever went to San Francisco, I walked from North Beach over to the Haight. And this was, again,
that's a pretty good schlep.
Kind of mid-'70s. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it was ghost-like. I really got that feeling. Just this, and it was almost like the intuitive thing was, I saw one apartment that was painted all black.
Yeah.
There was some purple over here, and I'm just hearing these echoes from like 67 and 68. I could just hear it.
Yeah.
It was dead quiet.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to these voices, and I'm listening to all this stuff, and I'm like, it was right fucking here. It wasn't at that intersection. It was some other street.
Yeah.
But it was close to that.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the street, and I'm like, wow, something. I'm like, I'm standing in this battlefield after the battle is over. It was but it was a very cool thing.
Yeah.
I thought, what a cool thing to just, I'm some punk rocker, but I'm over there paying my respects.
Yeah.
Because, wow, this is an amazing thing too. And the feeling I'm feeling now with all this stuff, I would have felt that same thing had I been there.
Oh, yeah. And I felt that way about punk, too, because, a lot of us who were writing then in, like, the middle 70s had already gotten pretty sick of what was going on in music, a lot of just corporate, Journey-type music and stuff like that. And a lot of us were writing, predicting that, Shaw even had some notion of a 10-year cycle that, it's 76 now, something's got to happen. Not necessarily, but so we were all kind of primed for that. And then when it finally happened, it seemed really right. But that too was like a stillborn thing. Ramones never sold, and until you get hits by Blondie and Talking Heads and stuff, that was a touch and go thing too.
Oh
yeah,
yes, I know.
Yeah,
it was like,
sure.
We just figured it was an us thing. We tried. We figured, like you were saying, like fans were there too.
Yeah.
Some. But not necessarily everybody. Yeah. And sometimes convincing people or trying to get them to open up to something is tough work.
Oh, man, I was, 78, I guess, probably. I was working at Warner Brothers Records in 78, and I think it was before we got the Sex Pistols. but we had they had picked up Sire as a label from ABC. Warner Brothers now had Sire, so they had the Ramones, they had Talking Heads, and they had Dead Boys and all this stuff. And it was a very hard job for Warner Brothers promotion men to walk into a radio station and say, "Here's a Richard Hell record." I mean, those FM DJs did not want to hear any of that. At the time, I thought, come on, this is happening. What did you? And they were too busy selling Van Halen, which is what they had to do. But those guys had a hard gig.
Oh, I bet.
Introducing that music.
I know. It was just so, in spite of the fact, like you say, that there was a vacuum there waiting to be filled.
Yeah.
It was just so different because that was my impression personally. I had just, when I first heard the Ramones album, I was still in Texas. A month before that, my girlfriend and I at the time went to say yes at a 14,000-seat sold-out stadium in Dallas. Okay, yes. The concert lasted like 3 hours. I think I was so stoned, I don't remember any of it. I don't know what anyone did. I don't know their names. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't that close anyway. But, it's like, so something in me I knew wanted to never do that again.
Uh-huh.
And so I heard the Ramones, and I just hated the shit. It's like, ugh.
Oh, you hated the Ramones?
Yes.
Oh.
Because it was just a big fuck you to everything that I knew.
Yeah.
Everything that I understood, man.
Sure.
And it was like trying to break it apart and tear it down. And then I couldn't stop playing it.
Uh-huh.
That was the weird thing. I'm like, I ain't gonna listen to this shit again. And then it just kind of occurred to me, okay, now stop. First of all, listen to the melodies. They're like nursery rhymes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pop music.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pop music.
Yeah.
It's just maybe at the time kind of severe crunchy guitars, but they're still guitars.
Oh, yeah.
And, the more you thought about it, the more I was like, well, I don't know. It's not that weird. And I love the energy. Boy, I just loved the energy of that.
Yeah.
Because I walked out of a Led Zeppelin concert in 75, I think, when they played at the Forum. Because it took them like an hour and a half to get on stage. And then it was, and at the time, Dinosaur Rock. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, that's exactly what this is. And everybody around me, just like, they're so stoned and fucked up. I'm like, I can't do it. I got through 2 songs and I left. Went out to my little Volkswagen in the Forum parking lot. I'm like, no traffic now. I can leave.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I never had any ears for them. And it's funny because I come from the Frisco era where there was also, that's where actually stretching out and long stuff kind of gets rolling.
Yeah.
But somehow it seemed a little more organic then. And things like Led Zeppelin Richard Meltzer, I think, the rock critic, I think he once said heavy metal is rock and roll as opera. And to me, that's what Led Zeppelin was. It's all this sort of orchestrated kind of bombastic thing. And they're not the only ones. The dominant sales then were by bands like doing that kind of stuff.
All grandiose.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I know. It's like, some people, my mother liked him. I can say that. But I liked him at first, I guess. But at a certain point, you're just like, man, that energy that just cuts so quick. And just like in the 60s, too. I mean, it started, but then there were so many bands that came from that, all different kinds of things. And same with punk, it just kind of immediately became all these different interpretations of whatever that was supposed to mean. Stupid term.
Why don't you act grown up?
Nature has also provided ample protection for this very delicate organ. Here, with the outer coverings removed, we see the eyeball completely surrounded by a layer of soft, fatty tissue and placed within the bony orbit, where it lies protected against sudden jolts.
Clean, modern styling. No knobs or gadgets in sight. Superb cabinetry, master crafted of the finest woods.
So you saw Jefferson Airplane early on. When was the first?
When I first saw him?
Yeah.
probably spring of '66, something like
66,
that.
really?
Yeah, with
'Cause
the
I
original
really-
singer before Grace. Yeah.
They're just one of my favorite bands.
Oh, great! Yeah, yeah.
And so, I mean, and that was when, now, did you see him before Grace Slick?
Yeah. Signe Anderson was the singer. She's on. That's all. The first album is her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'd seen Grace in the Great Society, which was, they weren't the most professional players, but they were good, and that's where they did Somebody to Love. And I saw Grace the first night she sang with the Airplane, because that was a big thing in San Francisco. Well, where are they going to get another singer? Well, the other main girl singer at that point was Slick, and she brought the two songs that became their biggest hits with her. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She must have been pretty impressive.
She was, yeah. I mean, I really like the Great Society's version of Somebody to Love better. It's a slow, crunchier one. But, that worked. Yeah.
Oh, man. I have to go listen to that now immediately when this done.
There's a couple different versions of it. On the Rhino did a box called Christ. It's named after that Youngblood song verse about get together. Anyway, they did a San Francisco package, and there's a nice version of the Great Society's Somebody to Love on there, which is really got this great kind of Louie type soloing. It's just very metallic and grating. It's very good.
Well,
anyway.
And her vocals on that are
Yeah. Well, that's a famous story. It's, Sly Stone produced them, the Great Society, because that was the label that the disc jockey Tom Donahue had. And I believe the story is he had them, because they weren't really professional people too much. I think he had them do something like 70 takes of that thing to get a single. And I think Grace Slick talks about it somewhere. They finally got it, and then she took the song to the Airplane after that.
That was hers.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember just personally seeing a lot of bands, for the first time. Mm-hmm. And it was, I don't know, it's just such a fun experience. And, of course, I couldn't see any of those bands. But I'm always interested in, what that was like. But I find it interesting that you would say that there, even then, when we look back on it, it was such a massive, like a tsunami of pop culture. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't a sense of inevitability.
No, not at all. I mean, I remember calling up one of the top 40 stations in San Francisco. They said you should do this. Big Brother had this is after Janice joined. They had 3 singles on mainstream, and some of us would call the radio station and say, "Could you play Blind Man? Could you play the Cuckoo or whatever it was?" And I think one of them got on, but it's like there was no sense at all that this whole thing would really fly.
Wow.
I saw her first night with Big Brother. I never saw them before. And she was pretty impressive. But the thing that I take away from that is like she eventually subsumed that band.
Janis Joplin.
Yeah. I mean, when she was like, when she first was there, I saw her at the Avalon Ballroom that night. They were a bunch of weird guys, and they had some, not comedy, but just sort of shtick they would do. Peter Albin, the bass player, would come out in this coat and rant. He called himself the LSD preacher, and he would do one of these things, but don't ever take these, all this kind of stuff. And they did Bo Diddley and all this stuff. And then she was there, and she was great. And she did this great 50s ballad by the Chantels, Maybe, which she later did, thing. And I just, oh man, that's really something. But then gradually she became the focal point of it, and not as good. When she was one of the guys in the beginning, I think it was better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she did. Boy, she
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Whew, the whole thing and really over the
And
top.
she's from TX.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Way down there in the southern part, Port Arthur. I
Yeah.
think it was,
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's just so many bands. I do, aside from bands, there was one little thing that you wrote that I thought was really funny, and that was when you said you either said you saw or you thought you saw the first hippies, which was this little group of people with their
yes.
Western.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, that was the first show I went to. That was Quicksilver and Paul Butterfield at the Fillmores. March 66.
66.
Yeah. And the people we now know that started this whole thing, the Family Dog, they were still doing shows at the Fillmore, alternating with Bill Graham before the Family Dog opened its own Avalon Ballroom.
Yeah.
So they were competitors. And speaking of Texas, Chet Helms, the guy that ran the Family Dog, was a Texas guy, raised like in an evangelical church, but he was like, came out here. Anyway, so those people, along with the Charlatans, which was really the first band, they would dress in, I mean, I think at that time you could probably go in the mid 60s, maybe into a thrift store or something.
Yeah.
And they still had clothes like from
Yes.
post-Civil War Edwardian stuff.
I know. Right?
And
I remember that.
I'd read about them in Ralph Gleason's column in the San Francisco Chronicle, that these people, and the women had these long dresses. And when I went to the Fillmore that time, they were there. There was a bar kind of to the left of the stage. And they were sort of like, leaning up against the bar like Wild West people. And I thought, well, that's them. These are the people. But the thing was, by this time, because the first dances had really started sporadically in late 65, by this time, those people were already being replaced by me and these other college and high school kids who were just coming in. It was moving that fast.
Right.
The same way that punk did here in LA, just blew up. Yeah. And that's the only time I ever saw those people as a group, but they already looked like they were being pushed aside. It's too bad.
I know, right?
Yeah, because, they invented it,
Yeah, no, I was thinking that. When I was reading it, I'm like, God, it's kind of a shame that if it had been maybe a little more of that and had a chance to kind of grow a little bit, it wouldn't have been whatever the hell it became. I don't know.
But there's so many things. I mean, you got to make the deal with commerce. Yeah. So these guys putting on shows and the record company, A&R guys who finally show up and start signing people, all these things have to work to make something happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Well, it was, you said, I did want to ask you actually about, you said one of the greatest, I don't know if you called it tragedies or whatever, it was that Moby Grape didn't get.
Oh, great. Yeah, great band. Yeah.
So obviously you saw them live.
Yeah.
And, because I've listened to their stuff and I like it, but I'm always curious about that kind of band, what they were like live. Because
it's interesting. I had a weird sort of. I was never really a hippie, but I had a weird sort of provincial thing. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, I always liked pop music. I was always a huge Beach Boys, a Four Seasons fan, all that stuff. But the thing, when I first saw Moby Grape, I had the same reaction I had when I first saw Buffalo Springfield, because they came up from LA and played in the city. And great music, but they appeared to be having too good a time. Like Skip Spence was dancing around the stage. And these other Frisco bands, they had humor to them, but there's something that I was suspicious that Springfield, and because they had pretty songs too, and Moby Grape seemed maybe a little too pop. And I love pop. But at the time I thought, well, shouldn't they be more serious or something like that? But there's no getting away from the energy or the tunes or the sing. Every guy in Moby Grape could write. It was really a good band, full of energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but the stars didn't align right there either.
Yeah, exactly. So many bands like that.
Yeah.
Where it just, bands that I've seen that I know that I saw play, and I'm just like, wow, I don't think people realize how good they are. I can't be the only one that knows that, and I'm not, but why is it not, why can they not cross that line that just kind of gets them out there?
It's hard to say. I mean, look at the Ramones. They have this enormous influence throughout the whole world and couldn't get arrested as far as sales go for a long time.
How many bands did the Ramones inspire?
Oh,
it must be
it's like Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah. Yeah, really, right. And then, of course, we always have somebody from the mother country, I'll just put it that way, who of course always has to tell us that it started there. Well, no, it didn't. I'm sorry. It started in Queens. With the Ramones. End of story. That's it.
That's true. We don't need the English.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's
the
what
English
I
good. I mean, one of my favorite bands. The Sex Pistols are okay, but The Damned is my favorite band of those
Yes.
punk bands. I just love them.
I saw them their first show at the Starwood, 77.
Yeah.
They came over. It's just some crazy idea. Let's just see if we can go to America really early. Mm-hmm. And my God, it just blew me.
There's so much energy. I didn't see them until I saw them at the Whiskey. It was a little later, maybe 79 or something.
But they maintained that level of incredible energy.
Yeah.
Really good songwriting, actually, turns out.
Yeah.
And well, that whole first album is just fun stuff. And, isn't it funny how you can hear that stuff, and for a lot of people at the time, and including me to a certain extent in the beginning, it just sounds so radical, so different. But then it quickly sort of it's just pop music.
Yeah.
No matter how much they scream.
It's got to have
pop music.
structure. It's got to have a tune.
It's got to be a melody somewhere, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I just I just love them visually. I mean, Dave Vanian especially.
He was good.
It just that whole thing, and I found them funny too. I mean, and they were funny in their way.
They were funny. Yeah, rat scabies with the lighter fluid, setting the symbol on fire.
Awesome. With the Sex Pistols, though, I mean, and I saw them. I just saw them the last show that in San Francisco, and they're good, and the records are good and stuff. But there's something calculated, or I mean, the records really pack a punch. But there's something a little obvious and deliberate about them, which must be Malcolm McLaren. It's like, okay, you want to write a song about fuck the Queen? I mean, okay. And then you're going to be so provocative. You're going to say, oh, Belson was a gasp. Okay, I get this. It's like, come on, you're working too hard here, man. It's just
so on the nose.
It's too on the nose, even though the sounds of those records are great.
Yes, I just couldn't agree more. That's exactly what it was. I saw them twice, 78, Dallas,
Dallas.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
I was there too. And, I mean, of course, what other conclusion could you reach other than that there's some little puppeteer somewhere around this stuff? I mean, look, the songs were good.
Yeah.
Good basic sort of rock and roll songs.
Yeah.
But they were there. There was stuff, but at the same time, the band live, I mean, how could a band having all that attention, I never understood why they would self-destruct. You've got it. There have been thousands of other bands in that same position that didn't self-destruct. What the fuck was wrong with you guys?
I don't know. Maybe they individually took the whole provocation and disrupting things as being more important than it was. Like, let's do the ultimate. Let's break up.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe it was just too combustible a situation personality-wise of Sid Vicious. I mean,
I think you're right. Well, he wasn't plugged in Dallas. I was right in front of the bass.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
No. Well,
so they were
I take that
bassless?
back. It was plugged in. The bass wasn't on.
Oh, wow.
So I was right in front of the bass.
Yeah.
And it was literally like a foot from the stage.
Yeah.
There was Sid, and the bass was right behind him. There's nothing coming out of it. So if there was bass somewhere, it might have been plugged in through the PA.
Maybe.
And somebody behind the stage was playing some bass. I don't remember hearing it. But he wasn't. He was so messed up on stage. He couldn't play the bass. All you're going to do is watch him. He's not playing it.
And that show, that San Francisco show, was, I had the flu, but I actually wanted to see it. And up there, it was a weird show. It was just edging a little bit too much towards violence, it seems to me. The way they were taunting the audience and stuff.
Yeah, it was a weird negative energy there.
It really was.
Everything that happened with him just sort of imploding there in front of your face felt, with that kind of energy, just totally natural. Like, of course, what else is going to happen? Yeah. Just like, all right, guys, maybe go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
If that's the way you want to be, well, fine, go do that then.
Yeah.
We've got tons of other bands, and I thought the Avengers, who just blew them off the stage.
Great, great band.
Love
great
that
records.
band.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
You and Malcolm, you take your plane.
Yeah.
Just go back.
Well, he always seemed like, I mean, he's also the guy who was such a provocateur when he, managed the tail end of the Dolls.
Yeah.
And he had them dressed up in like red suits and hammers and sickles. I was like,
that was so
okay,
awful.
come on.
Ugh, that was bad. What a mistake.
Yeah.
Miscalculation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not going to.
Yeah. Whereas that kind of transgression. I think, and I'm not sure why, maybe because the press was so important over there as opposed to radio exposure. That's the kind of thing that probably worked well in England.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
their
it did.
music trades were finding, oh, here's a new trend this week. Oh, that's out. Now we're going to new romantics. Now we got this. Now we got this. And so the novelty aspect, I think, played a lot better there than it did here.
Yeah, because over there, I mean, they just go through that like playing cards.
Yeah.
One after the other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's punk. Oh, a week later it's ska.
Yeah,
oh, and now
yeah.
it's this. And we're supposed to take all of it seriously, like it matters and means something.
Yeah.
When you guys go through this, like, like it's just nothing, like it's candy.
And it sort of disrespects the acts because there are good bands who came through
there were
all
great
those
bands.
things. But you know, if you say they're hot this week and then they're not the next, what are they supposed to do?
Go to America.
Yeah, go to
Where
America.
they'll like it for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
So,
Seen from the side, the protected position of the eyeball within its funnel-shaped eye socket is shown still more clearly. Once again, we see the fatty cushion which protects it on all sides.
But the outstanding feature of this great new color set, the one big feature that sets it apart, is an amazing new wireless wizard electronic remote control.
they signed the Ramones, they signed Blondie, they signed Talking Heads, they signed television. I mean, you know what I mean? Like if there had just been some sort of like mid or even small label, but with that distribution arm,
Yeah.
you know, I think some of this could have been developed. They were still developing bands to a certain extent.
Well, it's almost like, I mean, if you figure the first of the New York bands to really bust through is Blondie, I guess.
Right.
So, and that's on a pop level, so that's analogous
Sure.
to the Go-Go's.
Exactly, right.
Finally, that's something like that emerges here. It's, we can deal with that.
yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah,
you
they
know,
understood that.
yeah.
But I mean, I saw all of them. I thought Television Live was just amazing.
I saw them here once.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
At their first show at the Whiskey, and you know, I didn't want to miss any of those bands, and I didn't. But I don't know. I mean, the scene here was a little younger, a little crazier,
It was
a little more controlled from New York, a little older, a little more art school
very much, yeah.
kind of thing, you know. And so,
I wrote some pieces in. I wrote one in Creem. I wrote a feature in Creem called "Everybody Needs Somebody to Hate," and it was about the. It was a defense of the L.A. scene because the English and even some of the New York people were putting it down. But I think that the energy and the irreverence of L.A.'s punk scene kind of blew everything else away to me.
Right.
Even if there aren't that many great records left, just the way it just erupted and bands were forming every 10 minutes. And that was just really a great thing, I thought.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought it's just, isn't it funny? You know, because they would always, you guys are just all rich. Not true. You're just sunshine and palm trees. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. The beach. It's like, well, I think I was at the beach once in 3 years. It's like, you know, all the stereotypical bullshit. And I'm like, well, you guys are supposed to be smarter than that. You know, you don't blame us for that.
And that still goes in. That's part of, like,
still.
you know, East Coast parochialism. It's like, the palm trees. All right.
I know. I don't know what palm trees have to do with anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a fucking tree.
Yeah.
Just, you know, maybe it's analogous to your buildings. Well, we got trees. So I don't know. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Still, you know.
I mean, it is in many ways, I mean, I like New York and stuff, but in many ways, so much of that aesthetic back there, still in the New York Times and New Yorker and stuff like that, is like they have to cover what happens out here as well, but they still have some resentment. Like it's almost like you're saying, like your aunt just had to get to California,
right?
And it's like, well, after the war, that happened for millions of people, and they can't get over the idea back there that somebody preferred. I got a guy in my parish, in my church, and he's from Philly, and he came out here for a job and stuff like that, and he said, why would anyone live here? You're shoveling snow back there. And when it's hot, it's like you're dripping with sweat. It's humid.
Yeah.
And look what you got here. It's nice.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't blame me for that.
Yeah, right.
I made the choice. I came out. I took the risks.
Right.
I did the work.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have done that. If
Yeah, you
wanted.
can do it.
I mean, it's like, and I lived in Chicago for 8 years. I spent many months in New York off and on with bands I was in later, and it's like, God, the fans were great. It was really fun. I loved the place.
Yeah.
Then anyway, but I made the choice to be here. Yeah, and isn't it funny? There's that kind of street energy, and that's what's amazed me the last few years. Is Zach is in a band called Crisis Actor. Same energy, really good. And I think some of these young bands, I've just impressed over and over and over. Because not only do they have this real energy that seems to be just part and parcel of LA now, the opposite of the stereotypes, but they're really good. They're good musicians, and they're working it out. They're writing these songs that sound like songs. These are good. They're fun, and they're the same sidewalk that I stood on however many years ago, and that you stood on, and here they're doing that.
Yeah.
They haven't dropped. The ball was never dropped.
Yeah.
It was just passed on to somebody else.
No,
now they're figuring out their way of doing it. And I mean, it's just nothing but impressive.
Yeah.
Really.
There's a continuity.
Great. I'm
Yeah.
going to a show later tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be the same thing. I'll say, in fact, this band is playing.
Yeah.
So.
What kind of inspirations did your band have? What other bands did they?
I'm a big late '70s punk into post-punk era kind of stuff, like Gang of Four and Killing Joke and stuff like that. Or
Okay.
The Damned. I love The Damned. And all the New York stuff too. But I mean, LA stuff obviously. Tony's more of like he brings sort of the power pop energy from that era into it.
The singer. Yeah.
Tony, our guitarist, and then
That's a good mix of stuff.
Yeah, and then John, he comes from Afrobeat background, so on the first record we tried to incorporate a bunch of that, and I've tried to dip some of his drawing influence into our rhythms to make them more interesting, because he didn't come from punk at all, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah. See, creative.
Yeah.
Artistic.
Yeah.
They're putting these things together consciously, and you can't not be impressed.
Yeah.
It's just so fun to see it. So I've just been a supporter, and that's what's fun about doing this, is I can provide some platform for them to come on.
Sure.
Tomorrow I have a brand new band in their 20s called Cosmic Kitten, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Tell me about it. I love it. I saw them play and all that.
It's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
There's
Now,
still people.
I did want to get back to one thing though, because I read in your book that you saw Howlin' Wolf, and you were really impressed by that.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me about that a little bit? Because I'm so jealous that I never got to see.
Yeah, boy, a few years difference. That well, I saw Muddy and Alan Wolf and I think James Cotton. Probably saw Junior Wells once. Oh, but I loved Wolf's records, so I saw him first at the Fillmore, I guess. Well, the thing about him was too, not only is the music just great, the songs are great, but he was like, he would do stuff. I mean, he was clowning, and to me, that's a big thing. I mean, I wrote in the book, he would sometimes jump up and down while he was singing, and he'd hold the mic by his dick, and he would sort of pogo up. And the guy's 300 pounds or something.
I know, right.
And then he would crawl into the drum head, still singing. Yeah, and I mean, it's like,
man.
That was just, it was more than anything. And especially in Frisco, where things were sort of cool, people weren't really putting on shows. I mean, Janis Joplin was pretty dramatic, but to see somebody who was so dedicated to really entertaining, plus the music was so powerful. I mean, to see him do Spoonful and Smokestack Lightning,
Must have been really impressive.
Yeah.
So, well, That's good enough. That's all I'm ever going to get. But I love hearing it because.
Yeah, I remember it was actually at the Fillmore, the old Fillmore. There were these steps outside before you went up to get in the thing, and I always went like a lot of people. I always went there early because they still had a few seats, but at some point they just got rid of seats altogether. They pack as many people in as you could, but they had a row or two of actual seats at the front of the stage, and I used to go early so I could sit there and see them. And Howlin' Wolf pulled up. I don't know if they didn't have a bus. I don't know what they had, but they pulled up and they entered the building there, and he walked by me and these other people, and he said, "Excuse me," like that, in that voice of his. And I said, "Wow, that's him."
Yeah, right.
It was so great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's that kind of experience, which then becomes history, which then becomes so special, because of the uniqueness of these people, and you were there, and that's what I love to hear and archive.
Note this white stalk, which is the optic nerve, and also these muscles, which move the eyeball.
So perfected, you can operate every control, all 7 functions, and each function is completely variable.
That's what you got to give to the Rolling Stones and the Yardbirds and Manfred Mann, all those people who brought that back, brought respect for blues back into things. Because the truth is, blues was not, in 1965, and Six Blues was not a thriving enterprise anymore. I mean, they had 2 soul stations in the Bay Area, and you would occasionally see a Jimmy Witherspoon song there, maybe a Hank Ballard song or something like that. But, guys who were doing that kind of Muddy and Wolf stuff, that was the parents' generation of the people, the blacks who were now my age. That was not considered those people were not following that. So it really devolved to these young white hipsters to bring that back,
Right. Well, at least try and give it the due.
Yeah. They did. I mean, all those guys, all the way up to B.B. King, those guys worked like they'd never worked before once the rock crowd got into them.
Yeah, they were. Well, when I saw the Clash here, Bo Diddley opened.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was, conscious choice on their part.
Yeah.
To do that, and that was fascinating for me to actually, would have been cool to see him in 1958, but I got to see him in 1978.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. I don't remember. So one thing that really impressed me that I didn't know about you, and that so you've done how many liner notes on how many albums? Is it over 100?
It's over 100. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, a lot of them are just, paying gigs.
Sure. Well,
And,
still.
I mean, they're all paying gigs, but and I always, the last one I did, well, not the last one, I did one that's not going to get used, but I did one for Omnivore reissued the first Christopher Cross album, which is a big record.
Yeah.
TX guy again, a Texas guy. And I was at Warner Brothers when he was there, and I don't know, it just kind of sounded like not so much great stuff, but he was huge. But I found out when I got this gig of writing liner notes about him, I had to kind of start at zero and research everything about him. And that was maybe as enjoyable as writing liner notes for a Beach Boys album, which I did, because I love them. I don't need any encouragement. But it was really satisfying to just find out and write what's interesting about this guy who I never really knew anything about.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I bet that was.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the time. Doing that, and did you ever get any feedback from the artists after all that happened? Like, oh, I love those notes, or I love what you said.
I may have. I don't remember. The very first one I did was Johnny Rivers had an album called Blue Suede Shoes on United Artists when I first moved to L.A. in '73. That's the first one I did. I did these Beach Boys twofers that Warner Brothers did, and then lots of stuff after that. Yeah. But I don't remember any feedback so much.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I mean, these days it's kind of, it can be very direct, you know, with the internet
God,
and
yeah.
social media and everything, you know, bands
Yeah.
and everybody's talking to everybody, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you get that, but it's kind of cool. You know, you make it work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so you were at Warner Brothers for a long time, and your title there, your exact title was executive director of.
I was editorial director. I was there
Editorial
for
director. Okay.
6 years, 75 to 81.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that like the main gig? Were you doing?
Well, I always wrote.
Yeah,
I mean,
always wrote,
freelance. Yeah, music reviews. Yeah, that was the main thing. I was when I was there. I was 30 years old or something like that. I was kind of critical, as were a few other people in the company too. I was kind of critical of the music that the label I was at was making, especially once punk happened, because
Right.
to me, and who's to complain? I mean, those guys were paying for my salary.
Yeah.
People like America and Christopher Cross. And stuff like that.
Yes.
But to me, it was a little bit too much of just kind of sub James Taylor. And I like James Taylor. So sub James Taylor singer songwriters and guys like Michael Franks and guys that white duck pants and Hawaiian shirts. So when punk finally rears its head, I became a real advocate for it. Now, I wasn't any big influential person at Warner Brothers, but I sort of agitated about it.
Yes.
And
As best you could, but then the
as best I could.
constraints of.
Yeah, and meanwhile, some of these bands in New York were getting signed and stuff. And one day, I'd actually reviewed the first Ramones album in Creem. It's a real over-the-top review because I was still writing. And one day, Mo Austin, who was the head of Warner Bros., he came into my office and he said, "We've just got Sire. We're getting Sire." In other words, they'd got that label with Seymour Sun. So we were going to have the Ramones and all that stuff. And wow, this is great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. Well, I I do remember a friend of mine, I had just met him, the drummer for the Weirdos band we were talking about, Nicky Beat.
Nicky Beat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because he was, I guess, for a little while involved with a band called Venus and the Razor Blades.
Yeah, it was a Fowley band.
Another Fowley thing,
Yeah.
trying whatever
Yeah.
sticks. And so he's like, "Hey, yeah, come on, let's go to the," because he was a drummer, I was a drummer. So he's like, "Oh, let's go to the Whiskey. There's somebody playing there," and I don't remember, whatever. I'll just go and hang, because it was still very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go there, and it was Van Halen
Oh, yeah.
playing the Whiskey, and we actually go backstage, and I meet the band, and I'm like, "Nicky, why are we here? I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
These are long-haired dudes. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here." And I
Oh,
remember that David was like, he had his hair forward,
Uh-huh.
and he was putting some kind of gel in it. And we walked by, and just as we walked by was when he kind of flipped his hair back, and it got, like, it kind of hit my arm. And he's like, "Oh, little dude, I'm sorry, man. I got some hair gel on your arm. Dude, here, let me wipe that off, man. Little man."
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So I thought, well, okay, he's cool. He's fine.
Yeah.
It's all like one big family. In Hollywood,
yeah.
everybody, it's a rock and roll thing. It's a rock and roll vibe.
Yeah.
You're playing that, we're playing this, but you know what? We're just kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
When you were in the bags, did Fowley come and try to get you guys?
No, but well, not that I remember. And I'm surprised because we probably reached out to him some way or other. I mean, him and Rodney were just...
Well, then he did these punk nights at the Whiskey.
He
You
did,
must have
yeah,
played.
right.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
No?
we did.
Oh,
I was
okay.
at one of those where he had an act called Diane Diamond.
Yeah.
Some girl who dressed in this leopard skin bodysuit.
Yeah,
and we booed her off the stage.
I mean, all of his ideas were so lame. They were.
Yeah.
We talk about the provocation of the Pistols and Malcolm and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, and these records he made himself because he couldn't do anything else. There were these ideas of rebellion from the 50s or something, like, leopards, spiked heels, and we're bad, and it's just
it was pretty cringy.
Yeah, really. And I don't know. I mean, frankly, I didn't think very much of the Runaways, although Joan Jett turned into something good. She made some good records.
She made it work. I saw them at the Santa Monica Civic when they opened for, oh my God, I can't remember who. But anyway, I thought they were good.
Yeah.
I thought, because they already, by that time, had been expressing their hatred for Kim Fowley.
Yeah.
But so they were just playing rock and roll playing music because they loved doing it. They loved getting up on stage. And you could feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel that they were really there for themselves. And the Runaways as a thing wasn't probably, going to go anywhere anymore. Or as much as it had gone. So, that was cool. And then later on, we saw Joan all the time hanging out at the Whiskey. She lived in an apartment a block away, and she would come and hang out. People would sometimes go to that apartment and step over the bodies and, kind of hang out a little bit. So it was like, everybody was in a transition phase.
I guess.
Like, I'm going from this and but the thing about Joan, though, is that no matter the stuff going on around her or inside of her head or whatever, she was always determined to make this thing work. Mm-hmm. And she made it work. Yeah. She picked up from all those pieces. She grabbed enough and made it work. So, man, what a tough person. Yeah. Tough individual. And I saw that same thing with the Go-Go's because I knew all of them and was even living with one of them before, and I actually, in their very first rehearsal, they asked me to play drums because they couldn't find a drummer yet. I did not have the right physical equipment to be their drummer because they wanted an all-girl band, and I didn't fit. But I did that, and it was funny because, it's about as crude as you could imagine. Anything could be, but, it's punk rock, whatever. It sounds like that. But there was something about them I'll never forget, and all of them, we are going to make this work. Mm-hmm. We know what we're up against. Mm-hmm. An all-girl rock and roll band at the time, just laughs. Yeah. It's a comedy routine. It's not a rock and roll band. Mm. And I'll just never, and they didn't overtly say it, but kind of just hinting their determination, like, okay, we didn't do that right. Let's do it again. Do it again. Go over it. Go, and I'm like, damn, these girls, they got some balls. Yeah. Well, that's what it took. Work. Yeah, and they did. Yeah, just sheer determination and a lot of talent too.
Those are good records.
Songwriting. There's just a lot of talent. Yeah, whatever you think of it, it doesn't matter. It's still talented, and I saw that, and I just you just can't help but be impressed. Yeah, when you see these kind of things go from literally a basement underneath Hollywood Boulevard, to there it is, huge, and it was fairly won, on their effort and their talent. So I'm sure obviously you've just seen a million examples.
Probably,
gone through the years.
But,
but anyway, and you did mention that you had. That you said you lived in Sacramento for a little while, and you liked it. You liked.
Well, I Davis, when I went to UC, that was near Sacramento. I didn't live in Sacramento per se. That was in Davis, which is near there. Yeah.
So that was record stores.
That was where the first Tower Records started in Sacramento.
Right, there we go. Right.
Yeah. I bought the first Paul Butterfield album there, and I actually remember too. They had two stores. They had Tower downtown. They had Tower North. Tower North I went to a few times, and I remember seeing in the window a display for this new album coming from the Beach Boys called Smile, and they had like a little cardboard thing of that whatever the cover of Smile was going to be. It was a little house or something. And boy, that would be worth something to have, probably. Yeah. And then it never really came out. So.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the Beach Boys. Well.
Yeah.
So, so all told, you've written, is it 5 or 6 books?
Probably 5, I guess.
5 books.
Probably. I did a Kindle book for Rhino. Had this brief-lived series called Single Notes or something. They were these short ebooks that you can only get on Kindle through.
Oh, yeah.
I did one of those, which you can still get. It's called Dark Stars and Antimatter, Loving, Leaving, and Making Up with the Music of the Grateful Dead. That's what it's.
Cool.
It's really like a long
I'll go
essay.
get that. Yeah.
It's hardly a book, but yeah, it's like
Kindle.
$3 or something.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the books, and when did you start? Just real quick, when did you start drawing? And
The drawing thing.
yeah,
that.
art. Well, I mean, it's fun. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
like it.
great. Yeah. Did I send you a thing how to watch a clip of that stuff? I don't know.
No, I don't think you did.
I'll send
me
you.
that.
Yeah. Well, I always drew when I was a kid. I made my own comic books and stuff like that. And somehow I got started drawing. I was obsessed with San Francisco because I was born there. We lived there. Then we moved back up to the country. But you're always in the shadow of the city you're near. And I just drew San Francisco a lot. And then over the years, I just kept drawing these cities that are kind of California-based. They're not real. I mean, I'm not drawing L.A.
right.
But everything that I saw, especially even before I moved to Los Angeles, I was kind of obsessed with Los Angeles because it was seen as, and still is by some people, as antithetical to Northern California.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know, just something about it. So anyway, I've been doing this stuff on and off since I was about 10 or something like that.
Is there a website dedicated to that? Or?
No, on YouTube, there's it's not even a channel. I think it's called Sculatti Cityscapes. I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay.
And there are a couple of short clips where the camera goes along and shows you, these things like 30 feet long or something like that.
Do you sell any of this stuff?
No, I got covered in some outsider art magazines, but I couldn't sell it. I'd like to have some shows where I did this. I did this thing with KPCC in Pasadena. Pasadena. In 1919, they had a series called Unheard LA about people who are doing oddball things in LA, and I had a presentation where I talked about them there, and I showed one of them. We had about 600 people, and it really went over well. So I'd like people to see them. But
yeah, we need to see them, Gene. We got to see this stuff.
Yeah.
But we need a way to find out.
Yeah, well, I think it's Sculatti Cityscapes. I'll send it to you. And,
Okay.
Andy Paley gave me the music for the 2 of them I did. They were really nice. We did a little collage of radio and then these songs, instrumentals that he came up with. So, you can see them. Yeah.
Now, do you have a website? Personal?
No, I had a website from my first book, The Catalog of Cool, but then after a while, it was, I think, too early,
Okay, well, but it's never too late
No, I guess not.
to put it back up.
Well, the books are long gone, but,
Well, but, I mean, it's your stuff. You can reprint this stuff.
Yeah.
It really deserves to be out there.
The one,
You need a central place to go and see and know.
Yeah.
And then, like, art shows, which is a great idea, I think. Fuck, I'd love to go see that.
The one book which I really got nice response, but it's the only book that you can't get anymore was my partner Davin C. and I said a book about being in San Francisco. It's about those early days from 65 to 68, I think. And we did it, and it's out of print. And I looked the other day, and it was like, they were asking like $84 for this thing, and it never got reprinted.
But you own the manuscript.
Yeah, but, well, I won't go into it. There were things about, since that was done, there's all sorts of stuff with people who would own the copyrights to, like showing a handbill from the Fillmore. Now you'd have to go through Bill Graham Enterprises, whereas at that time, I had handbills and posters like you do, and we photographed them and put them in the book.
Yeah.
But now you'd have to pay. Probably it's impossible. That's one of the bad things.
Well, you could take some of that out, right?
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have the nice visuals that you need. I don't know.
I can't believe that they would make you pay for that.
I don't know.
Gene, I know some lawyers.
Well, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll help you do it. I want to read that.
Well,
Come on. I mean,
yeah.
that's ridiculous. It's fair use. It's a public thing. You took a picture of something in public,
True.
and they try and
well,
they
and
don't
there
have any control
and there were
over that.
pictures that we paid for. I mean, there were photos of
Well,
Michael
okay.
Look's archives and stuff like that. And we had a very opinionated. At the bottom, at the end of the book, we had a thing like you remember this thing Robert Christgau had in the Village Voice called Consumer Guide, where you just quick shots on different reviews, and we did a thing there. I don't know, called Psychedelic Music Consumer Guide, where Davin and I not really rated, but we basically had little blurbs about all these records, many of which were like just bad rip-offs of Frisco stuff. And bad stuff like, oh God, what were those guys from Long Island that slowed everything down? Vanilla Fudge, stuff like that. So we really dissed some people pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know why I thought of that.